have David Roche, a strategist at Quantum Strategy, standing by. David, thank you for your patience and thank you so much for your time. We just quickly set this up for our viewers, and we're just switching gears for a second to what's happening globally. It's going to be a big day in the important 24 hours as well from the Ukraine-Russia perspective. But first, European stocks are up. Germany really leading the charge, up about 1% ahead of a debt reform vote that we will be seeing today. The FTSE also up about 0.5%. The CAC, DAX all doing pretty well. The DAX up over 1% today. So it's a good day overall. David, what has caused the shift in mood? Is there a sense that we might hear something concrete on a cease of war between Ukraine and Russia? Is that what we're seeing playing out in markets across the board and European markets as well?
I think not.
Okay.
Frankly, on the Ukraine-US front, or rather the Russian-US front, what you're seeing is probably that Putin has been successful in diverting Trump from his agenda of giving a take it or leave it ceasefire deal to Putin, to Trump actually conceding more things to Putin that Putin asks for. And that will produce not peace in Europe, it'll produce further fragmentation, and quite likely that European states will have great difficulty in signing the Ukrainian peace deal agreed by Trump, which will just be, frankly, a sellout to Russia for reasons which nobody except a psychiatrist can understand. The other thing that's happening in Europe, which is you mentioned and is important, is that the move towards assuring European defense by Europeans, which will take 5 or 6 years, that is gaining a lot of momentum. The coalition of the willing to actually put troops in Ukraine and defend Ukraine, Trump may try and undo it, but I think the Europeans, that's a red line. They're going to have to do that to defend Ukraine. The US will withdraw gradually from Europe, and what we're seeing, most concrete steps as regards European defense, is what's happening in Germany, and we will probably get the approval of the bill to spend 500 billion euros over 10 years on the infrastructure and vastly expand defense expenditure. That bill, which of course is over and above the so-called debt brake, I think that will be granted authorization today by the exiting the old Bundestag before it leaves office and the new Bundestag comes in. That's what's driving the German market.
And you know, David, Harsh also joining in. I want to understand from you, good morning, want to understand from you what this debt reform vote will actually mean. So it'll obviously mean higher defense spend. But does it also act as a base to try and kickstart the European economy in a larger fashion? Will Europe be more relevant in the next 2 to 3 years?
Excellent question. It works in numerous different ways. First of all, there's 500 billion over 10 years, 50 billion a year, call it a little over 1% of GDP, to be spent on infrastructure, including green projects. Second of all, any increase in defense expenditure over 1% of GDP is exempted from the debt brake. So essentially what you're doing is you are relaxing two major prongs or two major efforts to ensure European defense, with Germany leading the way and the UK and France also doing their bit. And on the other hand, you're looking to renovate the creaking infrastructure of what used to be the best infrastructure in Europe and possibly in the world outside of Japan. So those two things are important. And what it means is that the German government will lead the way and the European Union will follow. It's already following on allowing defense expenditure to be exempted from the Growth and Stability Pact limits on debts for countries. So it's claimed that'll be 650 billion. I doubt it very much. I think it might be half that figure. And the EU is going to launch bonds or find other forms of finance to finance 150 billion on European defense expenditure. So actually, you're looking at both Germany breaking the debt brake it's only got 62% of GDP as sovereign debt, so plenty of room. And the Europeans doing the same thing. So actually, the European locomotive is starting to move in harmony. Now, it won't be smooth and it won't be a straight line, but it will happen.
Okay, thank you so much, David, for speaking with us. That's an interesting view. A lot happening, in the German markets as well. So that's one to watch. And of course, any announcements over the next 12 to 24 hours on Ukraine, Russia will be exciting. So thank you for that.